Hey everybody, it's Miss Michelle and Furby from the West Caldwell Public Library. How's everybody doing today? Furby deserves a treat. He thinks he always deserves treats because he just worked very hard. We had a story time on Zoom with some of our friends from the library. We sang songs together and we read a very fun book today about Halloween. I think you know that Halloween is coming up right in just a few days. And we're not just going to read a book about Halloween on Halloween. We're also going to read a book about Halloween today on Wednesday. Thank you for joining me here on YouTube and Facebook. By now, everybody knows that I do the Zoom program on Wednesdays at 4, like today, and Saturdays at 10:30. And then afterwards, I record a special story time. So if you miss it, you could watch it later in the day. You are very welcome to join me and Furby sometimes on Zoom. All you have to do is email me for the code. So remember that I will always add that in the description so that if you'd like to do that, you can email me and I'll send you the code and I will see you at the next story time live. Okay, so we're going to start with our song that we sing every week. Who thinks they remember it? You think you could do it? What if I give you one hint? It's about listening. I think you know what it is. Okay, let's try it. We're going to point at our eyes first. Here we go. Ready, Furby? I wish Furby would come back. He's watching instead. Okay, here we go. Eyes are watching, ears are listening, lips are zipped, hands are still, feet are really quiet. You should really try it. Listen well. Listen well. Wow, we remember that song, huh? Can you sing it really loud this time? Louder than you've ever sung it before. Here we go. Eyes are watching, ears are listening, lips are, hands are, feet are really, you should really listen. Good job! Let's clap for everybody. Awesome. So we're going to read a super special story today. And our story is, it's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Have we ever heard of this story before? I feel like maybe you've seen the cartoon, the movie on TV. It's a nice short movie, and it's also a new book that we just got at the library. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown by Charles M. Schulz. And I think you might recognize some characters here. I see Linus. He's very important to this story. And I see some other friends and something else here. I don't think I'm going to tell you what that is because we have to figure it out together. Oh, look at all the orange. Okay, we just read this story together on Zoom, and it is a little bit long, so make sure you get comfy and cozy. And I'm going to show you each page nice and slow so you can look at all the pretty pictures, okay? It was a brisk autumn day, but it wasn't just any autumn day, it was Halloween. Charlie Brown was busy raking leaves while Snoopy was busy playing in them. Lucy stopped by with a football. How about practicing some plays, Charlie Brown? Asked Lucy. I'll hold the ball and you come running and kick it. You must think I'm really stupid, replied Charlie Brown. You just want me to come running up to the ball so you could pull it away and watch me fall flat on my back. Oh, this time you can trust me, said Lucy, flashing a toothy grin. Can we trust her? But Charlie Brown did not believe her. No, answered Charlie Brown. No, no, and no. Please, Charlie Brown, pleaded Lucy. I have a signed document testifying that I will not pull the ball away. Charlie Brown grabbed a piece of paper and studied it. It is signed. I guess if you have a signed document in your hand, you can't go wrong. It looks like I'm really going to kick that football this year. Yay, I think he's excited about it. Now let's look at the picture before we read any words. Uh-oh. With that, Charlie Brown backed up and charged. Just as he was about to kick the ball, Lucy pulled it away, and Charlie Brown fell flat on his back. Arg! Charlie Brown screamed in pain. Lucy picked up the piece of paper. Funny thing, this signed document was never notarized. These are the little jokes for, like, Mom and Dad. Yeah, okay, the good stuff is coming, I promise. Meanwhile, Linus was inside writing an important letter. Oh, here we go. Okay. Dear Great Pumpkin, I'm looking forward to your arrival on Halloween night. Charlie Brown approached his friend. What are you writing, Linus? It's the time of year to write a letter to the Great Pumpkin, asked Linus. Who? asked Charlie Brown, looking confused. Every year on Halloween night, the great pumpkin rises up out of his pumpkin patch and flies through the air with bags of toys for children everywhere, exclaimed Linus. I don't think Charlie Brown ever heard this story before. Have you? After Charlie Brown left, Linus continued writing his letter. You must get discouraged because more people believe in Santa Claus than in you. Santa does get more publicity, and that might make you number 2, but that means that you really just need to try harder. Just then, Lucy and Peppermint Patty appeared. Oh, brother, moaned Lucy. Linus, are you writing a letter to that stupid pumpkin again? Linus nodded. I am the laughing stock of the neighborhood because every year my little brother writes a letter to the great pumpkin, cried Lucy, and she stormed off. Look how angry she is with her fists up in the air. Oh, man. Sally appeared just as Linus was signing his letter. What are you doing, Linus? Asked Sally. Linus hesitated and then answered, I am writing to the great pumpkin. He rises out of the pumpkin patch on Halloween night and brings bags of toys for children everywhere. Oh, Linus, swooned Sally, you say the cutest things. Hey, Sally, would you like to sit with me in the pumpkin patch on Halloween night and wait for the great pumpkin together? Asked Linus. Sally's eyes lit up. Oh, Linus, I would love to. I think she likes him a little bit. Okay, now here we are going to send our letter. Linus went to mail his letter. Really, Linus, cried Lucy, just how do you think you are going to mail that letter anyway? You can't possibly reach the mailbox, and I am not going to help you. Linus whipped his blanket in the air, hooked a corner of it into the handle, and pulled open the mailbox. Ha! He then sent his letter flying in the air. Lucy watched as the letter slid into the open box. Like that, replied a triumphant Linus, and he walked away. Okay, he sent his letter. Now, just then Charlie Brown ran up, waving a piece of paper in his hand. Hey, exclaimed Charlie Brown, I got an invitation to Violet's Halloween party. Doesn't that look fun? Lucy rolled her eyes. Oh, brother, she said with a sneer. Charlie Brown, if you got an invitation, then it must have been a mistake. Lucy, do you know if Linus is going to the party? Asked Sally. Lucy sighed. Probably not. That blockhead brother of mine will be out in the pumpkin patch making a fool of himself just like he does every year. But maybe there really is a great pumpkin, said Sally. Maybe there is. Do I get to go trick-or-treating this year? Sally asked her big brother. Sure, Sally, replied Charlie Brown. Oh boy, exclaimed Sally. How do we do it? Well, it's very simple, Lucy said. All you have to do is walk up to a house and ring the doorbell. When the person opens the door, you say tricks or treats. Sally looked suspicious. Are you sure? Are you sure that's legal? Oh, good grief, Lucy cringed. Of course it's legal. Here are their costumes. What is everybody here? I see a lot of ghosts, that's right. And I see one very silly ghost. I wonder who that is. And I see a witch's hat. Oh, and I see a mask. Everyone met later that afternoon at Lucy's house in their costumes. A person should always pick a costume which is in direct contrast to one's own personality, said Lucy, as she lowered a witch mask over her face. Lucy looked Charlie Brown up and down. Really, Charlie Brown, what are you supposed to be anyway? Charlie Brown responded from underneath the cut-up sheet. A ghost. I guess I had a little trouble with my scissors. Here they are, getting ready for trick-or-treating, and someone else walked by. A moment later, Snoopy pranced by, all dressed up for Halloween. What is he supposed to be? Asked Lucy. A pilot from World War I, replied Charlie Brown. Now I've heard everything, cried Lucy. Okay, everyone, we'll go trick-or-treating and then head over to Violet's for the Halloween party. Everyone got their bag to fill? I think they're ready. All right. But look what they passed. The trick-or-treaters passed Linus, who was settled in the pumpkin patch waiting for the great pumpkin. Have you come to sing pumpkin carols? Asked a hopeful Linus. Oh, good grief, cried Lucy, throwing her arms in the air. Lucy turned to Sally. Well, are you coming with us or not? Sally looked back and forth from Linus to her friends and then back at Linus. What do you think she's going to do? Do we remember? Yay, she stays. After their friends left, Linus turned to Sally and said, I'm so glad you decided to stay. Do you really think he'll come? Asked Sally. Tonight the great pumpkin rises up and flies through the air, bringing toys to children everywhere, exclaimed Linus. Does it? I don't know. Meanwhile, the trick-or-treaters were starting their rounds in the neighborhood. Each time someone opened their door, everyone cried, "Tricks or treats!" "Could I have an extra piece for my blockhead of a brother, please?" said Lucy, flashing a toothy grin. "He couldn't come with us because he's sitting in a pumpkin patch, waiting for the great pumpkin." There she is with her little mask. And she got some extras, which I think is very nice for her brother. Everyone met up on the sidewalk to size up what they received. "It's so embarrassing that I have to ask for extra candy for that blockhead Linus," said Lucy as she looked through her bag. "Looks like I got 5 pieces of candy." "And I got a chocolate bar," added Violet. "I got a gummy candy," said Peppermint Patty. Charlie looked in his bag with disbelief. "I got a rock?" Uh-oh. Check out the next picture. Are you ready? I don't see one rock. I see a lot of rocks. Oh, Charlie Brown. The trick-or-treaters worked their way through the neighborhood. After every few houses, they stopped to take stock of what they had received. "Nice," exclaimed Lucy. "I got 3 cookies." "And I got a fudge bar," said Violet. "Pack of gum," added Peppermint Patty. "A rock," cried Charlie Brown. "Not again." Oh, poor guy. When everyone finished trick-or-treating, they started walking to Violet's house for the party, and on their way they passed by the pumpkin patch. Remember who was there? "Well, has the great pumpkin been by yet?" asked Violet with a smirk. "You missed trick-or-treating, and now you are going to miss the Halloween party," said Peppermint Patty. Sally stepped forward and replied, "You all think you are so smart. You just wait. The great pumpkin is going to show. Linus knows what he's talking about." With that, the kids left for Violet's house. And here they are at the party. Once at the party, everyone started to partake in the Halloween festivities. Some were carving pumpkins while others were getting ready to bob for apples. "Out of my way," said Lucy, stepping up to the barrel. "Let me show you how it's done." After a few seconds, Lucy pulled her head out of the bucket, but instead of just pulling out an apple, she pulled out a beagle. That means a special dog. And who's the dog in this book that everybody knows? It's Snoopy. "Ew," cried Lucy. "My lips touch dog lips. Gross." All right. Later at the pumpkin patch, Linus and Sally were still waiting for the great pumpkin to make an appearance. Suddenly, a rustling noise came from the middle of the pumpkin patch. They both turned toward the noise. "Look," Linus cried, pointing toward the moving shadow. "There he is. It's the great pumpkin. He's rising up from the pumpkin patch." Linus was so overwhelmed with excitement that he fainted. I don't know if I see a pumpkin. I think I see somebody else. But let's see. Within seconds, Linus came to and sat up. He looked around and asked, "What happened? Did I faint? Did he leave us any toys?" "I was robbed," Sally yelled. "Halloween is over and I missed it. You kept me up all night waiting for the great pumpkin and the only thing that came was a beagle." "When the great pumpkin comes, I'll still put a good word in for you," Linus yelled to Sally, but she was gone. "Oh, great pumpkin," moaned Linus, "where are you?" Guys, it was just Snoopy being silly. It wasn't the pumpkin. Later that night, Lucy woke up, looked at her clock, and went to check on her brother. He was not in his room. So she went outside and found him sleeping in the pumpkin patch. She picked him up, carried him home, and put him to bed. I think he missed the great pumpkin. He was sleeping. The next morning, Charlie Brown and Linus met up. "Well, another Halloween has come and gone, and all I got was a bag full of rocks," said Charlie Brown. "I guess the great pumpkin never showed?" "Oh, you just wait until next year, Charlie Brown," cried Linus. "I'll sit in that pumpkin patch until the great pumpkin appears, and I'll be there." You see, he won't give up hope. He might have missed it this time. He fell asleep, poor guy, but he won't give up hope. He'll try again next year. Well, I hope everybody here is going to have a fun Halloween. I hope you have some special things planned and some silly costumes to wear. I thought we would sing a Halloween song. I like to sing different songs at my story time, and today I have a Halloween song that's actually a very famous melody that you might know. Oh, my computer froze, and that's where my words are. The song is called The Pumpkin in the Patch. Can we make a pumpkin? Show me a pumpkin. There it is. Then, can we pretend to be witches? Can we wear a witch hat? Then can we be spooky ghosts? We're just going to do this with our fingers and look spooky. That's a spooky ghost. I'll take it. And how about asking for candy? There it is. Okay, you show me your pumpkin first. Ready? The words are the pumpkin in the patch. If you can sing that part, I'll take care of the rest. Ready? The pumpkin in the patch. The pumpkin in the patch. Hi-ho, it's orange, you know. The pumpkin in the patch. How about the witch is on her broom? Can you sing that with me 3 times? Ready? The witch is on her broom. The witch is on her broom. Hi-ho, away she'll go. The witch is on her broom. Good job. Excellent. Okay, now here's another one. We're going to do the ghost is in the air. The ghost flies. Now, we're not going to fly, but we're just going to make a silly move like this. And I'm going to sing a little spooky. Ready? The ghost is in the air. Can you sing that? The ghost is in the air. Hi-ho, I see it glow. The ghost is in the air. Okay, show me your treat hands. You're hoping for a bag of treats. You're waiting for it for your candy. Ready? The candy's in my bag. The candy's in my bag. Hi-ho, it's Halloween, you know. The candy's in my bag. Good job. Let's clap for everybody. The beautiful thing about a video is that you can rewind and sing that again until you get the words right. In Zoom, we had a little trouble. It's a lot of words and we're live. But I encourage you to read any and all Halloween stories you can get your hands on this week and watch as many fun movies and tell fun ghost stories because Halloween is the best. And the library has a lot of super cool books. I'm going to be returning this one tomorrow when I go in and try to find a fun one for Halloween Day. That's right, I'm going to have a Halloween story time on Saturday at 10:30 in the morning, and I hope that you'll join me. On Zoom, you can email me for that code, or you can wait until later in the day when you've had fun and maybe you're in bed and you want a bedtime story, and you can catch me here on YouTube and Facebook, okay? Now, there's always a craft section of my story time. I'm going to attach the 2 coloring sheets as comments in the Facebook comments below this video on Facebook. So it's on YouTube, but it's also being posted to Facebook. And you can color those sheets. They have all to do with Charlie Brown. So I hope you enjoyed today's story. I'm sorry Furby didn't stick around. Maybe he'll dress up on Saturday. We'll see. Okay, my friends, thanks for coming. Bye.